is my dear friend. For several years, he was also the legal representative for the NBA and the rookie transition program. So Joakim Noah, just to name a few. When they were drafted by the NBA, they sat in a classroom with this man who told them how to be professional athletes, who spoke to them about the legal ramifications of how they acted, how they carried themselves. Once again, you're hearing from someone with power, someone that's going to talk to you tonight about leadership, about community, about how to conduct yourself, and someone that really cares about you being successful in life. There isn't no other program like ours that has the privilege of hearing from someone like this. I introduce to you Mr. Peter Harvey.
I grew up in Tuskegee, Alabama. You know it perhaps from the Tuskegee Airmen. I know it from Tuskegee University because my life was dominated by that university. We played on campus, we watched football games, we watched basketball games, and we watched young men and young women go to class. And we watched them graduate, and we watched them go and do very important things in life. I left high school playing basketball as a guard. I left high school as an All-American. Because I had some pretty decent grades, not as good as they could have been, because I didn't try as hard as I should have. But I went on to college, I played freshman basketball, and so I said, you know what, I'm not going to play any more basketball, I'm going to devote my time to studying. Because I also knew that I would have a longer career with my mind than my body. I also knew that every player in the NBA has got lawyers, has got accountants, who have careers long after they're over. And believe me, your career is shorter than you think it's going to be. You see, what happens is, at a certain point, believe it or not, people will pay you based upon your mental abilities. They will pay you based upon what your mind can do, not what your body can do. Because sooner or later, your body isn't going to be able to do the things that it can do now, just because of age and gravity. It just plays out that way. Get used to it. Don't be mad about it. That's just how it has to happen. Every basketball player in the NBA will be a retired basketball player in the NBA. It's just the way of things. When now I practice law, was, as Mr. Bright told you, I was Attorney General in the state. 9,600 employees, a budget of about $1 billion. I oversaw everything from gaming enforcement, which policed the casinos in Atlantic City, to state police, to county prosecutors, to local police, to civil rights, alcoholic beverage control, homeland security coordination here in the state. It was a very interesting job, and I got a chance to do things like catch people who were engaged in illegal gambling rings, sometimes betting on athletic contests, which is illegal. People who were selling narcotics, gang members who were shooting one another and destroying communities, narcotics dealers that were doing all kinds of misdeeds, public officials who were misusing their offices. And then I came into private practice. And in private practice, now I represent film directors, I represent some artists, I represent companies that get into all kinds of disputes. You know, I have stood before rookies who are joining the NBA in the rookie transition program. And it's fascinating to watch them because what they don't realize is they become instant millionaires. They don't realize, many of them, that they have become essentially a business. They also don't realize that everybody they know is going to start asking them for money. They also don't know that the friends around them, when the times get very difficult, will not be their friends. They will run for cover. So sometimes the people that you think are your friends are not your friends, because when times get tight, they're going to engage in rule number one for humanity, self-preservation. And so you're going to have to make good choices about the people you select, the people whom you call your friends, and the way in which you're going to handle yourself. Another example. One of the questions I got in speaking to young people in the rookie transition program, young men, one of the biggest areas of questions I got was about guns. Guys wanted to know, can I buy a gun? Can I hold a gun? Can I carry a gun? Can I walk around with a gun? Can I take a gun from point A to point B? Can I bring it to practice? Can I bring it to the arena? Now, the NBA has rules on this. You cannot own a firearm. Well, the NBA doesn't prescribe whether or not you can own a firearm. You cannot bring one to any NBA facility for any reason. You can't bring it to practice. You can't bring it to a game. You can't bring it to an NBA event. And yet, some of these guys do. Because here's what a team is paying for, believe it or not. A team is paying for you to play. If you can't play, then you're not of any value to the team. That's what they're paying for. It's a straight business transaction. You agree to stay healthy and be in the best condition you can be in, and be of sound mind and play the game well. They agree to pay you money. That's the business transaction. Basketball is fantastic. Basketball can take you places you've never been and you only dreamed about. It can take you to campuses where you can meet interesting people, some of whom will be lifelong friends. It'll take you into classrooms where you'll have the world open to you if you care to pay attention to it. It will take you across the country. It'll take you in different places in the world. And it'll give you a life beyond basketball, but only if you pay attention to it. If all you are is a basketball player, if at the end of the day, that's all you are, it will ruin you. Because there'll come a day when you can't play anymore, or no one's interested in you playing anymore. You still think you have it, but they don't. Certainly nobody's willing to pay you for it. And then all you are is an ex-basketball player. And then there comes a point where even people don't know who you are. You ever heard of Connie Hawkins? Yeah. Who's ever heard of Connie Hawkins? You see? There's a time. Who's heard of Tiny Archibald? It's pretty good. Who's heard of Maurice Lucas? Who's heard of Cassie Russell? Who's heard of Elgin Baylor? You see, there'll come a point when nobody will even know who you are. You walk into a place and people will say, oh, he looks familiar. That ain't some guy. Be better than that, young man. You have an opportunity to do it. All it is choices. That isn't to say you're going to make every decision correctly. It's okay. Don't get trapped in a mistake. The point is, try to be right every time. You know when something is right and wrong. You know when something is a good idea and a bad idea. You know when you should be studying your lesson. You know when you're good at something. When you pick up history faster than everybody else, you got a mind for it. You pick up biology faster than anybody else, you got a mind for it. So why not be a doctor? Why not use your education? Why not use basketball to get a free education that then puts you in a position, you know, you can get redshirted your first year, play 5 years, the last year, essentially be on a scholarship for 5 years. Have your last year of eligibility when you're a first year graduate student. You know, the NBA, just like the NFL, pays for graduate school for the players in the league. And none of them use it. Almost none. None of them. It's free. The league pays for it. Your grad school costs $50,000 a year. You give them the tab. They'll pay for it. Almost nobody takes advantage of it. You have an opportunity on that. Don't be afraid to win. Don't be afraid to achieve. Don't be ashamed because you're smart. Since when are we ashamed that we can sit in class and figure stuff out, that we're good in math, that we're good in science, we're good in biology, we're good in English, we write well? Since when is that something to be ashamed about?